Hi everybody, it's meteorologist Brian Bennett, and here's your update for Friday evening on what is now subtropical storm Alberto. It developed just east of the Yucatan Peninsula. It's going to drift into the Gulf of Mexico this weekend and most likely make landfall as a weak tropical storm, most likely around the coastal Mississippi and Alabama area on late Monday evening. Winds right now with the tropical system are sustained at 40 miles per hour, a very ragged looking storm, which is not unusual for late May and June. We typically see the most convection, the most rainfall, and the most storms being on the right quadrant of the storm, and that is the case for this particular storm as well, which is why we're watching out for the possibility of some decent rainfall totals, especially in the Florida Peninsula as we move through the next couple of days. All right, I want to quickly answer the when, the where, the what with this storm. As far as the where is the storm going to make landfall, here we are with the European computer model, and it has the storm making landfall right around the Mobile area. The GFS model has it making landfall in parts of coastal Louisiana, so a bit farther west. We're zoomed in a bit now, so now we're looking at the H-Wharf model in a much closer range, but this is Mobile Bay right here, so it has it making landfall just east of the Mobile area. And here's the HMON model, again making landfall right around the Mobile Bay area. And looking at the CMC, the Canadian model, it has it making landfall a little bit farther east in the western Florida Panhandle area. Looking at all the models and even a few additional models with these spaghetti plots here, you can see that just about every model has it making landfall from about Panama City all the way over to New Orleans, with the more trusty models having the storm move onshore right around Mobile Bay area. So a fair amount of model consensus as far as where the storm is going to head. The National Hurricane Center has issued a tropical storm watch here in the yellow color, indicating that we could have a tropical storm moving onshore over the next couple of days, anywhere from again about Panama City to the coastal Louisiana area, again with the most likely area being Mobile or perhaps even coastal Mississippi. All right, here's a look at the European computer model. I wanted to show you two different models and their rainfall possibility. It is a holiday weekend. A lot of folks are making outdoor plans. So let me show you the two most trusty models, at least as far as how they've been handling this particular tropical system. Here's the European model for Saturday morning. Green representing light showers, red representing heavier rain. Saturday morning, really not a ton of rain over the Florida Peninsula. A couple of showers maybe once you get to about Sarasota and most of our coastal areas all the way down through Fort Myers and Cape Coral and even Miami as well. Fast forwarding the clock to 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, we're starting to see some of those showers gradually drift off to the north, but still a lot of the Florida Peninsula not covered in rain by your Saturday afternoon. Here we are on Sunday. The storm is moving so slow to the north that we're not looking at major deluges or even a ton of rainfall for the entire state on Saturday, according to the European computer model. Here is Sunday night or early Sunday morning at 2 a.m. Fast forwarding to Sunday morning, here we are at 8 a.m. And by 8 a.m. is when we're starting to see the storm system reach Tampa Bay's latitude. So we're starting to see some heavy rain move into areas, basically I-4 and south by Sunday morning, and then maybe even an outer rain band moving over parts of Florida by Sunday afternoon. Exactly where that outer rain band lines up will determine who gets the heaviest rain, and there also will be a bit of a tornado chance with that outer rain band as well. And exactly where that will line up is a little difficult to say at this point, but something that we'll want to watch pretty closely as we move into Sunday. Here we are Sunday evening. European computer model still has a good deal of heavy rain falling across parts of Florida. And then as we head into Sunday night, we're starting to see the rain dissipate across much of the Florida Peninsula, but still some scattered showers and still kind of partly to mostly cloudy as we move into your Memorial Day. and then even some afternoon convection and some development due to the juicy atmosphere by later Monday afternoon. And then we start watching the coastal areas of the Florida Panhandle up through Mobile, and that's where you're going to be really close to that center of circulation, and you could see some wicked heavy rainfall move onshore due to being close to that potential tropical storm as it makes landfall. All right, so that's the European computer model, and here is the RPM model, which seems to be handling it pretty well, pretty well. And we're seeing, let's see, actually, you know what, guys? Let's rewind this real quick. Let me go back to here we are tomorrow morning. This is Saturday morning, and looking pretty similar to the European in the morning time with a few showers and storms, mainly in far southern Florida, Tampa Bay area. Not looking at a ton of rain for your Saturday morning. Fast forwarding to Saturday afternoon, we're seeing a few showers and storms with a very far northerly outer rain band, possibly making its way into Tampa Bay area. Otherwise, kind of normal convection once you get up into parts of the southeastern states. And then fast forwarding to Saturday evening, maybe a lingering shower, but for the most part, would you agree that the models really aren't calling for a ton of rainfall across the state on Saturday? Really, that's the European and the RPM kind of agree on that for the most part. Maybe a few heavy downpours, but it doesn't look to be a deluge of a day on Saturday. Now, not to say it's going to be a beach day, as we will have cloudy skies, but as far as rain potential, it doesn't look like we're going to see the heaviest rain on your Saturday. Now moving into Sunday. Remember the European model was calling for some heavy rain on Sunday? Well, here's the RPM model moving into Sunday morning. And yeah, when you look at this, look at the reds and yellows. That represents a consistent and heavy rain. And that's consistent all the way from Miami all the way to the Georgia-Florida border. So rain chances do really ramp up on your Sunday once the storm reaches the latitude of Tampa Bay. So Sunday does look like a washout. So if you're planning on going to the Margarita Fest on Sunday in Tampa Bay, you might have a tear in your beer because we're looking at quite a few raindrops falling from the sky on Sunday. And again, some of those downpours could be on the heavy side with some localized flooding on Sunday as well. Fast forwarding to Monday, the storm has drifted off to the west-northwest a little bit. So we're still looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms pretty likely by, I would say, about 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or later. So hopefully we can get in some Memorial Day activities early on Monday morning, but by late morning and early afternoon we'll see those scattered showers and storms develop, but not quite to the extent of what we're going to have on Sunday. How much rainfall are we looking at? Well, here's the European computer model, and for the most part, on average for the state of Florida, we're looking at about 2 to 3 inches on average. But if you happen to line up under one of those rain bands that's traveling from south to north, you could pick up more like 6, 7, maybe 8 inches of rain. And again, for folks that live up in the Florida Panhandle around Mobile, you're closer to the center of circulation, and that's where you could see closer to a foot of rain. So yeah, Sunday looking like a rainy, wet, soggy day for the state of Florida, but exactly how much rain is really difficult to predict at this point, as it depends on where the outer rain bands end up lining up on their south to northerly track. All right, I did want to show you the winds associated with this storm. Bottom line is, over the Florida Peninsula, you don't really have to worry about any winds. This storm is not going to have hurricane force winds, so not really expecting any trees down. Maybe a one weak rooted tree could come down, or a couple of twigs, but that's about it. The wind forecast would actually be more for your boaters and potential beachgoers. Here we are on Saturday morning, moving into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. We're looking at easterly winds in the Gulf of Mexico blowing about 20 miles per hour sustained. So not good boating conditions on Saturday. It's going to be kind of choppy, especially as you head out into the Gulf of Mexico just a little bit. Let's fast forward to your Sunday. And here's Sunday afternoon. Let me take it back one more time. Here's Sunday afternoon. Looking at the greenish color here, that represents winds that are blowing about 35, maybe 40 miles per hour. just offshore, so pretty breezy along our immediate coastal areas in the Gulf of Mexico on your Sunday. Wouldn't be too surprised if the Sunshine Skyway actually closed down for a little bit due to some of these strong winds as well. But as far as inland locations, not really a big concern from the wind unless you live up around the Mobile area. Once this tropical system moves onshore, you could see wind gusts a little bit stronger, possibly blowing more like 45, 50 miles per hour and very western panhandle, Pensacola, Florida, Mobile Bay area. That's where you could see the 50 mile per hour winds at the immediate coastlines. But the Tampa Bay area, you're looking at 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, most of that being where it's going to be unimpeded by the friction of land and trees, that being offshore. So kind of the main point to take from this would be keep the boat anchored or at least docked, especially on Sunday and really for the most part Saturday as well. And then moving into Monday, it's still going to be kind of choppy with a southerly wind from most of the Gulf of Mexico. So you might want to actually keep it docked for Monday as well, just to kind of stay on the safe side. All right, what about storm surge? Here in the pink color here, which is basically the Big Bend over through Mobile Bay, over through Louisiana, we're looking at the possibility for a 2 to 4 foot storm surge. That's why the Hurricane Center has issued a storm surge watch. Some of the Mobile Bay area could see perhaps a little bit higher surge, maybe 4 feet, maybe 5 feet. Same thing goes for the more prone areas north of Cedar Key here in the Big Bend. But for the most part, storm surge is not going to be overly hazardous with this storm, but with an onshore wind for at least 24 hours, I think we will see a few flooded areas right here in the northern Gulf of Mexico. All right, hopefully that answered every question you have about this storm and when, where, and what you can expect in your area. If I didn't, or if you just want to say what's up, feel free to drop me a line in the comment section. Otherwise, I always appreciate any shares or likes. All right, guys, hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend, and I'll have another update tomorrow if it deems necessary. Otherwise, we'll speak soon, okay? Have a good one.